So I'm on this P38 that we've bought, the 800 quid P38. One of the issues we found is, if you turn the car off, it won't come back on. It won't start again. It'll come back on, but it won't start. It'll just turn over and turn over and turn over. We've noticed that somebody's put a new hose on it here for the fuel. There. This side's got fuel in it here. There's nothing in there. So the fuel, for some reason, is running back to the tank. Also, it's got no power whatsoever when you put your foot down. We thought that might be a gearbox, but it also could be a lack of fuel. What we did first off was take the relay out there. That's the fuel relay. We put the probe across the fuel relay and tested it. The relay works. We tested all these fuses for continuity and all them work. Then you pop this fuse out, the relay out there. That's where the power would be going, into that one, to the fuel pump. So you put fuel to it, power to it, and you get absolutely nothing. No noises, no fuel coming up the pipe there. But when you turn the car on, we found that when you crank it, you did get fuel coming up there very, very slowly. So we've lifted the car and found that somebody has put a proper dodgy small fuel pump on the chassis from the tank, which is not doing the job, I don't think. We'll show you that under the car now. But check your fuses, check your relay, check power from the relay, and then the next thing is to check the pump. But when we put this up in the air, you'll see why we can't just check the pump. Well, you'll see what we was looking at when we saw that other pump. It's a little fuel pump, little tiny fuel pump, which is going to give nowhere near what this needs for it to run, being a 2.5 diesel. So we'll get it up in the air and then we'll show you what we're talking about. So up it goes, super slow. When it gets to the top, we'll show you. Right, so under the car, we can see said fuel line tracking back to this fuel pump and then in to the tank. So somebody's tried to replace the in-tank fuel pump with this, which definitely shouldn't be there, and I don't think it's even nowhere near enough power. It does work when you put 12 volts to it, but it don't even seem to work when you've got the ignition on, does it? They do nothing. No. But when we put 12 volts to it, it did pump the fuel through. So it looks like we're going to have to drop the tank, and we're going to look at how to do that. You've got two up here and two at the back. Hopefully it's just the same as the disco, and this fuel tank strap holds it. And we can undo them and hopefully drop the fuel tank down. But lift is in the way of this, it looks like. But right, we'll see what we can do. Update. Tank's out. So what we have to do is one bolt from there, and there. And then lower the tank out and pull it out. Looks like it's got a new fuel pump on it. Doesn't look OEM though, I wouldn't say. So it could just be a CAC fuel pump. So what we're going to have to do is test the fuel pump now it's out. If it continues to sort of pump and not pump, then it's probably a faulty fuel pump that's been put in there. Which can happen if it's a brick part or something like that. It could easily be a faulty fuel pump. So we're going to undo it first, have a look, make sure there's no blockages, make sure there's no problems with the actual pump being blocked, and then we're going to test it. Right, situation report. Tank's out, tank's on the floor. Issue we've had, we believe that you've got somebody's hooked this pump up because it obviously wasn't pumping, it was sort of on and off sporadic out the fuel pump. This one was just pumping air through, it was a piece of crap, so I've disconnected all that. We've tested from the relay that the relay works, 12 volts to the relay, and we've tested that this has got 12 volts coming to it, so the system should prime when you turn it on. A lot of black stuff come out from the bottom of the pump, which is in that bucket.
Done the splits.
So there's a lot of black stuff in that bucket that come out of it, which could have been blocking up and not helping. But we've got a feeling that because this is an aftermarket fuel pump and it's new, you can see somebody's been trying to sort problems out before with this. The fuel gauge reading reads that it's got quite a lot of fuel in it, quarter of a tank. It hasn't got quarter of a tank in it, and as soon as the pump gets to a certain point where the pot at the bottom of the pump isn't full, it doesn't pump. It just pumps sporadically. Intermittently. It pumps intermittently. And you get air fuel, which is causing bad running. So We've cleaned the pump out, and now we are going to put the tank back, and we're going to fill it with a bit more diesel. Try and get it up to around half a tank showing on the fuel gauge, and that should hopefully stop it like splitting and spluttering fuel through. And then we can test drive it and see if that's fixed the acceleration problems and the problems of it going anywhere. If it doesn't, then we'll look at the gearbox. Right, tank's back in hung. There is the filter. So we're gonna, sorry, not filter, pump. So we're going to connect all these gubbins up over here. We've removed the dodgy filter out of the system, the dodgy pump, sorry, out of the system. There it is. So we're going to get all that hooked up on there. So the way to do this is undo this back, drop it down, leave it on the nuts at the front, and you can get to all this then. You can get to all your pipes and everything you need to get to. But you can see that's a fresh fuel pump. So we'll get all this done, get it all plumbed in, and give it a test.